All right. So I posted a video yesterday, and there was a sister in here. She talked about her husband who talaqed her and why. So she basically was saying how her husband gave her talaq. They've been married for 10 years. It was some brothers kept inboxing her, which that's a big thing for women too. Like even married women, single women, where dudes just keep coming at them. I guess he was hollering at her, and all she kept responding with was Shukran. He's like, "Oh, you so pretty, Shukran. You know, I hope you have a good day. Thanks, I appreciate it." So what ends up happening, the husband, I guess he's looking in the inbox, he sees it, he gets upset. He gave her a talaq, right? He didn't really have no intentions of actually divorcing her,
right.
But I guess that was kind of like a warning shot type thing, and she learned her lesson from it. So I posted the video yesterday, but everybody's commenting on it, saying, "Oh, that's a dumb reason to divorce your wife." And I'm trying to explain to them, he didn't actually divorce her. He gave her a pronouncement. You know what I mean? And that made me think, like, I don't think they understand how it actually works. Maybe a lot of them never been married, or some of them ain't been married long. So, which
well, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, wa salatu wa salam ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Well, I mean, what you have to understand online before I get to the question is that we're living in a time of inversion, where everything that is right is wrong and everything that is wrong is right. So people will automatically blame the victim for being a victim, and praise the person who, you know, is actually the villain. And that's the times that we live in. I mean, how can you say that that's a dumb reason to pronounce divorce on a person when you don't know if that was the first time that happened? Yeah, there's a lot of backstory to a situation that people don't really take the time out to understand, and then they're just quick to say, "Oh, that's a dumb reason to pronounce divorce." You don't know if that was the first time. You don't know if, you know, he's caught her cheating before. I mean, from the looks of it, if she kept saying Shukran or whatever the case may be, I mean, it's like you're entertaining it, because why didn't you just block the guy? Why didn't you just dead the situation the first time he inboxed? You know, if you're a married woman, you know what I mean, being considerate of your husband's jealousy. You know what I mean? Like Asma, who was the sister of Aisha, radiallahu ta'ala anha, and she was married to Zubair, the Prophet's cousin, Zubair ibn Awam. And so one time the Prophet ﷺ saw Asma carrying, like, you know, fruits and vegetables from the garden on her head. And so the Prophet ﷺ was riding with some of his companions on a camel. So he stops the camel and he gets off the camel and tells Asma, you know, this is Abu Bakr's daughter. This is his right-hand man. This is her daughter. You know, he raised them. He was there in the home with them. And he tells Asma, get on the camel and I'll walk the camel to the house so you don't have to carry that. And Asma, she said, she declined. She told the Prophet ﷺ no. And she said she remembered Zubair's jealousy.
Yeah.
You understand? I remembered my husband's jealousy at that moment. And the last thing that I want to deal with is that news reaching my husband and, you know, me feeling some type of way or him feeling some type of way. And even when she got home, in the spirit of transparency, when she got home, she told Zubair what happened.
Yeah.
And Zubair said, it would have been more dear to me for you to have taken the ride with the Prophet ﷺ rather than carrying that on your head. So, and she was like, nah, I remembered your jealousy. He was like, but would I be jealous of the Messenger of Allah ﷺ? Like, come on. Like, I'm not, you know, come on. But the point that I'm making is that, you know, just to kind of like sidebar that situation is that when women are in, you know, those type of precarious situations, you know, you have to allow common sense to kick in at that moment. And to say Shukran and he keeps inboxing at that moment, and you had an opportunity, any man would be upset. I would be upset. You know, and I'm not necessarily a jealous person. You know what I mean? I believe that if I'm with a woman and she steps off with somebody else, you know, I don't want nothing that's not for me.
Yeah, it's not yours.
It's not mine. I don't want nothing that's not for me. I'm not in competition with another man. You know what I mean? The only person I'm in competition with is me. So, I mean, if you step off with somebody else, then, it wasn't for me, and I don't want nothing that's not for me anyway. To answer the question about the talaq, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, الطلاق مرتان فإمساك بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان, that divorce is 2 times. And what does Allah mean by that? Because we know divorce in Islam you can pronounce up to 3 times. So why does Allah say in the Quran that divorce is 2 times? And that is because there's what is called the talaq al-raj'i or talaq al-ba'in. There is the revocable divorce, meaning you can pronounce divorce on her for 2 times and have an opportunity to take her back. So that's why Allah said divorce is twice.
Yeah.
Because the 3rd time you pronounce divorce on her, the divorce is bad and it is irrevocable.
Yeah.
You cannot go back after that. So when Allah says divorce is twice, He's talking about the type of divorce whereby once you pronounce it, you have 3 menstrual cycles or 3 months, depending on the woman's condition. If she doesn't have a regular menstrual cycle, then, or she doesn't have a menstrual cycle at all, then it's calculated through months.
Yeah.
If she has a regular menstrual cycle, then it's calculated through the menstrual cycle. So if you pronounce the divorce on, a man pronounces divorce on his wife for the first time, he has maximum 90 days or 3 menstrual cycles to take her back.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't take her back and the iddah period runs out completely, they are divorced. But this is what is called talaq. A saghir is a minor divorce, meaning they can get remarried. He allowed the iddah period to run out, and he did not take her back before the iddah period ran out. So they are divorced, but they have an opportunity to remarry if they decide to. All right, and that's with the 1st or 2nd divorce. If he pronounces divorce on her for the 3rd time, she does the iddah period, but only to make sure she's not pregnant by him, but not to give him an opportunity to take her back because he can't take her back.
Exactly.
The 3rd time, the divorce is finalized. So when you say he pronounced divorce on her, if it was the 1st time or the 2nd time, then he has an opportunity to take her back. And taking her back can be verbally by him saying, "I take you back," or through physical action, meaning sexual relations, intimacy, to resume normal intimate interaction between husband and wife. As some men may think that they can pronounce divorce on a woman and then still be intimate with her until her iddah period is over, and then it's like, now you don't get your cake and eat it too in Islam. Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala said that al-a'mal tunazzilu al-aqwal, that actions sometimes take the form of statements. Meaning sometimes you can do something and without actually saying it, you're saying it.
Yeah.
So if you are intimate with your wife after you pronounce divorce on her, you don't get to continuously have sexual relations with her. Meanwhile, she's still in her iddah period. Even if you don't say verbally, "I take you back," just the fact that you engage in intimacy with her means that you took her back. So, that's pretty much how it works. And then, of course, with the divorce, the man has to make sure that the divorce is pronounced at the proper time. Because in that situation, to many scholars, it doesn't even count. So, for example, if a man and a woman was intimate last night, they had sex last night, and then he woke up this morning and he saw, in this case, he saw, some inboxes from another man, and he says, "You're divorced." It doesn't count.
Why not?
Why? Because he was intimate with her. The woman has one clean state in between 2 menstrual cycles. So her menstrual cycle at the end of the month, and then there's a clean period, and then at the end of that month there's another menstrual cycle. So that's 2 menstrual cycles, 1 clean period. If a man is intimate with his wife at even one time within that clean period in between the 2 menstrual cycles, he cannot pronounce divorce on her during that time. He has to wait till she get on her menstrual cycle, finish her menstrual cycle, gets clean, and then pronounce divorce on her before he touches her as intimate with her. And that is based upon an ayah in the Quran, the first ayah in Surah Talaq, in Surah number 65. Allah says, "Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, ya ayyuhan nabiyyu idha talaqtumun nisa, fatalliquhunna li'iddatihinna wa ahsul iddah." O Prophet, when you, men, because the address is to men, when you divorce women, divorce them at their proper times. So there are times in which a man can pronounce divorce on his wife, and there are times when a man cannot pronounce divorce on his wife. And that's in a clean state when he has been intimate with her, or when she's on her menstrual cycle. Those two times, the divorce does not count. To many scholars, I mean, there's no difference of opinion as it relates to the menstrual cycle, but there is a difference of opinion as it relates to when he was intimate with her. All right, and then of course there's the pronouncing divorce on her while he's extremely angry and he's not really aware of what he's saying. There's a difference of opinion amongst the scholars of whether or not that counts or it doesn't count.
Yeah, the Maliki school counts.
Right, it counts.
Yeah.
And Ibn al-Qayyim, he said that it's not just one opinion because anger is in three categories. He broke it down into three categories. There's the anger where the person is just completely almost like insane. You know, the frontal cortex of the brain where you make all your decisions completely locked. You have no access. And therefore, in that situation, the divorce does not count. And then there's the situation where the person is extremely angry. He understands to some degree what he's saying. However, has no control over what's coming out of his mouth. And in that instance, it doesn't count. And then there's the normal anger, right? Al-Ghabban al-Adi. He's just normally, like any angry man. No man comes home from work and says, hey, honey, how you doing? By the way, you're divorced. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be some level of anger there. You know what I mean? But it's anger where it does not cloud the person's judgment. The person knows exactly what they're doing.
So in that case, right, there's another part of the conversation. Would you go through your wife's phone?
We actually just had a marriage retreat, and we threw that question out there in front of, we had the men on one side, the women on the other side, and we were given scenarios. And that was one of the scenarios. Would you go through your husband's phone? And I actually posted that clip on my Instagram page and my Facebook page. And I would say 95% of the people, the women obviously, who commented said yes. If I'm giving you full access to my body, my life, myself, I should have full access to your life, your phone. I personally believe that if you have to go through someone's phone, there's a trust issue there, then why are you even married to the person? I mean, like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, for me personally, if you wanna know something, then just ask me. I'm not gonna hide anything from you.
Yeah.
But every conversation that I have in my phone, whether it's a DM or it's a text message, there's a backstory to that conversation. Yeah. It could have been something as simple as a friend from high school who saw me on Facebook and said, hey, haven't seen you in a while, how you doing? You know, and she might have sent some hearts, you know, with that. All right? Wife looks at that. She's going to judge that situation completely upon what she sees, not knowing that this might have been my high school sweetheart. I haven't heard from her since I took my Shahada. And I had no control over her direct messaging me. You understand? This was the first message she ever sent me. And she put hearts and everything like that. I didn't tell her. There was no previous conversation. She's basing that conversation off of the last conversation I had with her 10 years ago when I took my Shahada. You understand what I'm saying? And to non-Muslims, they don't have those type of boundaries and rules. You know what I'm saying? Like, you run into non-Muslims, they still hug you. You like, oh, wait a minute. Ain't no filter. Right, no filter. So for a woman to just go through your phone and actually see that and then get in her feelings over that, it's like, I understand you're in your feelings, but there's a backstory to that. And without having that backstory, you know, we kind of prejudge a situation and we turn it into something that it doesn't necessarily have to be.
Would you do that as an old head? Is that okay?
Go through his wife's phone?
No, yeah.
I don't go through my wife's phone. And she don't go through mine. I mean, we transparent. You know what I mean? I don't have no locks or nothing on my phone. So if she wants to, she can go through it. But we just don't.
I've been trying to tell chicks in here, right? You can go to jail for that now. Like if somebody actually, that's an actual offense because it's a privacy thing. Because people they might keep, naked pictures, social security numbers, and you go in there, you find that stuff. It was a cop was telling me that you can actually get prosecuted for that. You know that's like looking at somebody's credit report without permission. You know what I mean? So, I mean, not that ain't nobody gonna punish. Most people ain't gonna call the cops. But next girl goes to mine, I'm calling the cops. For real. For real. Because I'm a victim of that.
You gonna call the cops?
Yeah. I call the cops in a heartbeat. You know?
So
For real.
It's different.
Because here's the argument. We had that argument in here about,
I can imagine.
yeah, about who's a civilian and who, about snitching. I'm a civilian. You know what I'm saying? So
well, no, I wasn't.
I know what you
saying
mean.
That from the perspective of snitching. I'm just saying, you don't think that that's a bit extreme? Why not just terminate the relationship?
No, I mean, no, I'm not saying, of course, but I've been through relationships like that where they got that bad. You ever have like it get really bad?
No,
but
I've never.
No, I still wanted the relationship. I still wanted the girl. The girl might still want me, but we don't trust each other. We fighting and stuff. And then if I was in that situation, God forbid I would be in that again. But if I ever was in that again, I probably would just call the police. Because that's the only way that somebody's gonna.
Disaster.
It is.
But after you call the police, a relationship is over with anyway.
You might want to teach a lesson. I had a girl
But
do
she
that.
She gonna go back to bed with you after?
Yeah, they go back.
Okay,
Wow.
Some it's relationships like you see people they be beating each other up.
So she called the cops on you. Would you?
No, hell no, never.
But it's alright for you to call the cops.
But even if I didn't want it no more, I would just don't do that to the next guy. Don't be. You should. I don't believe in people going to people's phones. I don't go to people's phones at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's necessary. I think that there should be a level of communication. But I mean, people do engage in dubious behavior. You know what I mean? Like, and if you notice something that is triggering you or that's making you uncomfortable, then you don't have to sneak around. The thing is that when you look through someone's phone, you're looking with a bias.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking with a cognitive bias, meaning you are already in your mind looking for something in particular. And if you look for something long enough, you're going to find it.
Exactly.
Your mind is going to tell you that that's what you're looking for.
Look, I know girls that did this, right? And it happened to me. These girls nowadays, they'll go with a new email address. They'll make a whole new Facebook account and pick certain friends, make it look like a real account, and then they'll start requesting the women that you're talking to, trying to figure out what you're doing. I've had that happen to me. And I know quite a few brothers that happen to too. And I know men that probably do it. I don't know of any, but I'm sure they do it too. Because people, they'll do that catfishing crap.
I don't ever have to feel that. I don't think it's necessary to ever feel that you have to be sneaky to go around and do stuff like that. Just ask the person, like, listen, I have a hunch. Somebody mentioned something to me, or wherever you're getting your references from, and bring it to the person. You know, and, I mean, if we're Muslim, then we turn to Allah and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Kashif, one of his names, he exposes. You know what I mean? Like Mudhir, Allah will expose what it is and call on Allah by his names. And Mudhir, the one who, makes something expose it to me. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his assistance in that. And there have been many instances where we've asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm pretty sure every one of us have had an instance in their lives where they have asked Allah to show me the truth of this situation, and Allah exposes it to you.
Yeah.
Now, whether you responded to that or you didn't, that's solely up to you. But if you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, call on him by his name and ask him to expose the situation, Allah will expose the situation to you. I mean, it is what it is. But
you gotta be mature enough to handle that.